Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're actually sitting down to talk about things that are positive. That's right, positivity on the Ryan118 channel. This week, you wouldn't believe that, we started the week talking about Kasper Schmeichel's injury and how he could potentially be out till September. Yesterday we were looking at controversial opinions, which really got me down by the time the video was over. But today we have good news to talk about, two massive stories which I'm sure will spread positivity amongst the Celtic support, and one of them is a very positive update on Kasper Schmeichel. So stay with me, we're going to try and cover this as quickly as possible. I want us to be in and out today. We're nearly at the end of the week. Celtic are almost back. If you haven't already, please make sure to go down below, hit like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. Very, very close now to 49,000 subscribers. The final stretch to the big 50k. Can we be the first Celtic related channel outside the actual official Celtic channel itself on YouTube to reach 50,000 subscribers? I hope so. Go down below, hit both of those buttons. We have a couple of big stories to go over today. Kasper Schmeichel's injury update, Dyson Maeda being offered a new contract. It's a good day to be a Celtic fan. So earlier this week, we sadly found out that Kasper Schmeichel picked up a big injury on international duty with Denmark. He went down in the game against Portugal with a shoulder injury, which left him in visible and audible discomfort for the remainder of that game until he left the stadium. Afterwards, he was spotted in Lisbon airport in a sling with a very grumpy look on his face apparently, which had Danish media speculating that it could keep him out until September. Now, this was before we had any official word on the injury status, severity, or even found out he had any tests done. The Danish media thought it was, you know, it was right to jump to the conclusion that his season was over and potentially the beginning of next season was in doubt for Kasper. All because he was sitting in an airport with a slightly begrudged look on his face. Well, today we got official word from the Danish national team manager on his status and what it means for the rest of Kasper Schmeichel's season. So headlines out of Denmark this morning did confirm that Kasper Schmeichel is out indefinitely, but national team manager Brian Reimer confirmed in his words that Kasper Schmeichel is undergoing tests and will be out for several weeks. We don't know yet if it will be longer. He went on to say that he is injured, he will be out for a few weeks, maybe longer, we don't know yet. It requires attention. The positive thing is that the examinations have shown that it is not a fracture or anything that is career threatening. So despite the negatives of still knowing Kasper Schmeichel is out for an unknown amount of time, number one, a few weeks is better than September, and number two, it's not career threatening. There is no fracture and it doesn't look as though there'll be a need for any sort of severe recovery, aka surgery. So not the worst bit of news to get, not the best either, but something that can put the doubts of Kasper Schmeichel's career to bed. A few people in my comment section the other day did get carried away when they first seen the diagnosis from the Danish media. This is why you need to be patient. A lot of folk thought that was wraps for Kasper Schmeichel, that his career was done. If he was out till September, he may as well call it a day. Well, the Danish national team manager has given us a bit of a more positive update, a little bit of hope that he could be back before the end of the season, but nothing to get overly excited about yet. A further update to Danish television networks, Brian Reimer then said the status is that Kasper is injured, and right now we're doing in-depth studies which should provide an indication as to whether or not we're talking a shorter, medium or long injury period. I don't think there's any doubt he will not play this weekend. He has recovered quickly from injuries before, and I know he's keen on this case as well, but he is injured for the foreseeable future. So confirming to us we won't see Kasper Schmeichel in action this weekend. I think we all knew that by now, but also still confirming we don't have exacts on a return date quite yet, but I'm trying to see the positives in it. I said this the other day, I am more than willing to accept that Kasper Schmeichel's season could be over. The fact that the manager of the Danish national team has used the phrase at least a few weeks gives me hope that he could be back before the end, but at the same time, there's no need to rush him in. if he's fit, if he's ready to go, we could see him back in time for a potential Scottish Cup final. But for the remainder of this league season, there is no great rush to get Kasper Schmeichel back in. I think the priority for all of us as Celtic fans is that Schmeichel's ready for next season, that he's back for next season, and I would be happy with that. If the recovery date, if the injury term is only going to be through the first portion of summer and he's back in time for the start of a new season, that's good enough for us. It's not ideal. It's a very unfortunate and frustrating situation to be in, losing your number one keeper and someone who's been pivotal all season for us, but it could be far worse than this. It's not the end of the world, and I'm hoping that the majority of us Celtic fans can realise that. I wish him the best with his recovery, and hopefully we hear a little more soon as to exactly when we should see him back. Brendan Rodgers will speak to the media tomorrow ahead of our game against Hearts on Saturday, so we wait to hear what is said on the Celtic side of things. Of course, all comments thus far have came from the Danish national team setup. We haven't had any in-house scans or assessments done of Kasper Schmeichel yet, so we await to see what our own medical team make of the situation and what Brendan Rodgers makes of the situation, and he'll probably give us a wee update on that tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, Viljami Sinsalo, we've already said it, huge opportunity for him, and hopefully he grasps it with both hands. So let's talk about the huge story of the day, the very positive story of the day, and one that will bring a smile to every Celtic fan's face, concerning Daizen Maeda and the reports suggesting that Celtic are set to offer him a huge new contract in a bid to make sure he stays at the club next season. These were the headlines last night, that Celtic are set to offer Daizen Maeda a new bumper deal as Brendan Rodgers wants to fend off the growing transfer interest. Daizen Maeda is set to be offered a new contract amid the growing interest in the striker because his new deal currently runs out in the summer of 2027. Celtic want to tie him down to a new contract to make sure they fight off any potential interest, and they understand they're keen to get him down on a deal which gives him improved terms. Fantastic news. I mean, just wonderful news, really. In fact, I would say some of the best news I've heard in a long time. Brendan Rodgers has made it abundantly clear how pivotal Daizen Maeda is to this setup. Daizen Maeda has made it perfectly clear how happy he is playing for Celtic, and Celtic fans have made it perfectly clear how much we love watching Daizen Maeda and how valuable we think he is to this Celtic team. This year he has been undoubtedly the player of the campaign. He's been a joy to watch, and without him, you struggle to imagine where half of our goals would come from, because if he's not scoring them, he's making them. And even if he's not picking up the assists, he's a real driving force in the team going forward. He is the most important player in the Celtic team right now. I truly believe that if you go off this season's form. And to keep him next year is of paramount importance if we want to make progress as a unit. If we want to make progress as a side, I believe you need to keep your best players. And even if the club are ready to see bids come in, they've made it clear now they don't intend on selling. I genuinely believe this is fantastic news for so many reasons, but the reason more than anything is because if Daizen Maeda now accepts the deal, we are putting the foot down and saying we're not selling him. He's not going anywhere this summer, which I'm a huge fan of, because we've seen this situation before with players, and Daizen Maeda's getting into those prime years of his career now where a move might be the most strategic thing in a player's mind. But Celtic are going, no, we're not going to take the money. We're not going to sell him on. We want to keep him, and that's why we're tying him down to a new contract. Even if we got one more year out of Daizen Maeda, that would be huge for the club, because we're on, I truly believe we're on the precipice of doing something special in Europe. And you need to keep him around for that. So Celtic are saying, bugger that to the interest, bugger that to the potential money that we could make off Daizen Maeda next year. We're keeping him. We're going to give him big money. We're going to keep him at the club. We're going to reward him for what he's done. And we're going to give Brendan Rodgers and let Brendan Rodgers keep the tools that he already has to go and do something next year. So this is massive for so many reasons. It's obviously just now a matter of if Daizen Maeda wants to put pen to paper or not. I do think that Daizen Maeda will put pen to paper. I think he'll sign the contract if we offer him a good deal, if we give him the right reasons and incentives to stay at the club. And that'll probably be with the understanding that should a move come up in the next couple of years that he's really interested in, we let him explore that. But I'm fine with that. Honestly, as I said, even if we get one more year out of him, I think it's worth it, rather than letting him go now when we're just starting to build and we've just started seeing that progress in Europe. So I think it's a huge bit of news for Celtic, and I think he will sign the contract. We've not heard too much about the clubs who are definitely interested in him. I don't think it's going to be any huge clubs, ones that would make no sense for him to stay here at Celtic, but I think it'll be the typical, Brentfords and Bournemouths and clubs like that. Back in the day you'd have had Leicester before they got relegated. I think it'll be those sorts of clubs that might be interested. But if Celtic give him the money that he deserves and that he's earned, why would he want to go there? Why would he not want to stay at Celtic? I'm very confident that we'll see Dyson sign up and stay here for another wee while, because we're in a good place. He's clearly enjoying it. The manager values him so highly. And the club now realise the importance of keeping these sorts of players. During an interview with Sky Sports pre-Derby, he was asked about his future at Celtic and staying with the club long term. In that interview, he said, he's not sure. It's a difficult question. While I'm here, I always want to fight and play for Celtic. I want to keep focusing and playing for the team. So yeah, give him the reason to be sure about staying here. Just, throw every penny we can at him. I honestly, you're lucky it's not me in charge, because if it was me, I'd be throwing him 100 grand a week, and we saw where that got the other mob. So yeah, but just throw every penny we can at him, Celtic. Cheers. So that's all for today. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you on the channel tomorrow for the newest episode of the Celtic The Thunder. Remember, channel members, you get an extra podcast every week in the Thunder Club, so you can become a member down below. But until next time, take care, and hail hail.